Hi all, Brad Wright from the Single Malt Whisky Club here. And after the last 2 months of New World whiskies from relatively young distilleries, we're heading back to a distillery that's not only one of the oldest Scottish distilleries, but it's still owned and run by the original family who built it. This month we are proud to feature the Springbank 15-year-old from the Campbelltown region, which was notorious from illicit stills and bootlegging, with over 400 illegal stills once operating in the region. And we know this thanks in part to the meticulous records kept by a coppersmith in the region named Robert Armour. His records show 50 stills being made between 1817 and 1811 alone. At the peak of its fame, Campbelltown boasted no less than 29 legal distilleries. Now, sadly, only 3 remain: the Springbank, the Glen Scotia and the Glengyle. The Springbank distillery, officially founded in 1828 by William Reid. I say officially because the site was operated as an illicit still for years by Archibald Mitchell before it was a licensed distillery. William Reid, related to Archie by marriage, passed the ownership on his death to the Mitchell family in 1837, which has retained that ownership to this day. It's no wonder then that Springbank Distillery still employs traditional methods handed down from generation to generation. They malt their own barley in a traditional floor malted peat-fired malt house. They use traditional copper pot stills, one of them being direct fired. The distillery handles all aspects of production, from malting through distillation, aging and bottling on site. The Springbank distillery produces 3 different brands of whisky. They produce the lightly peated Springbank at 2.8 times distilled, the heavily peated Longrow, which is double distilled, and they feature a non-peated whisky brand called the Hazelburn, and that one is triple distilled. So on to this month's whisky, the Springbank 15-year-old. 2.8 times distilled, but what does this mean? Okay, so imagine you've got 3 stills, just like the Springbank distillery. In a triple distillation, you'd use all the output, all the usable output from the first still, the wash still, put it into the second still, take the usable part of that out, and then redistill it once more in the third still. In Springbank's case, 20% of the output of the wash still bypasses the second distillation and goes directly to the third still. So it effectively distills 2.8 times, if that makes sense. So that's their 2.8 distillation they refer to. Okay, on to the whisky. The Springbank 15, the colour, a nice sort of light honey colour, not too dark. 15 years in Oloroso sherry casks. You'd think it would have been a bit darker, but quite a light. But nevertheless, the colour is there, that honey amber sort of colour. Pour a glass. All right. On the nose, there's an immediate, really brief flash of aniseed. Then there's salty plums, nuts, and I guess just a suggestion like of uncut salami there. On the palate, it's fruity and sweet. There's honey, coffee, dark chocolate. Beautiful, oily, viscous mouthfeel and just a slight spiciness. And on the finish, wow, it's fruity, it's sweet, it's long. The peatiness is gone very quickly, leaving just a warming and satisfying chew there. It's absolutely fantastic. And did I mention it's long? Oh, it's fantastic. Springbank, 15-year-old, 2.8 times distilled, fully aged in Oloroso sherry. Absolutely bloody fantastic. All the best till next month. Slan Javar.